Is that the face you're going to be making as we start? 1, 2, 3. Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Kaguya-sama Love is War, Season 3, Episode 11. Oh my god, we are close to the end of the show.
And a confession.
Yeah, we don't know how confessions go. I'm conflicted.
How do you confess to someone?
I don't know.
I feel as innocent as Kaguya.
Have you ever confessed to somebody and it turned out really bad?
I wouldn't say really bad.
Like
actually, I had to think about that. I was like, go back into my high school years. Probably middle school. Was probably the most devastating.
I've never confessed to somebody. I don't think
I've ever done the big display that you see maybe in shows of taking them behind a building and saying anything hey, I really like you, will you go out with me?
Yeah. I'm trying to think now. Okay, you want to hear something really embarrassing? So
Sure.
when I was in 6th grade, we had recess, and where we had recess was a big open field that year. And every day at recess, without fail, we'd play football. Everybody in the grade. And I loved playing football at recess. And we talk about plays and stuff during classes. We'd be so excited for it. But today was different. I wasn't just going to make a play. I was going to make the play. There was a girl I wanted to ask out for years. I was in 6th grade, prime of my life. And I had the plan. I knew the quarterback. I was the wide receiver. And I was like, all right, dude, Ryan, this is the plan. You're going to throw it to me deep. I'm going to catch this. And it's going to look amazing. But while it's happening, Noah is going to run a note over to the girl. And he's going to time it. So right when the ball is about to leave Ryan's hand, he's going to hand it to her.
Oh.
And she's going to open it up, read it, and then see me scoring a touchdown in recess in 6th grade. And it was going to be the best thing in the world.
And what actually happened?
It all happened, but I don't think the football thing mattered.
The note was what mattered. I would just say all of my childhood confessions were more that whole you tell a friend to go could tell the person that you like them.
Yeah.
And that made the rejections hurt way less.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to be there to have the person be yeah, no, I'm not interested.
Interesting. I'm reliving so many moments. Anyway, so sorry. We are about to approach more than one confession. I'm very worried about what Ishigami's...
An answer to a confession
Yeah.
wasn't an intentional confession either.
Right? I don't know. I'm excited and very anxious, but I trust that this show is going to have an ending that will make me really proud of it and happy. There is something though. We missed an after credit last episode, apparently. And it stinks because you and I waited until it was about to happen and we're like, oh no, it looks like a preview. We shouldn't watch it. We've accidentally watched a preview before because we couldn't tell if it was an after credit or not. And we messed up here. But we're going to watch it right now before next episode. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Okay. Final day. That's a clown.
This is serious?
What happened?
The decorations. All those heart-shaped balloons that were...
What?
Someone has stolen the love.
No, Karen.
You know what I just remembered? Didn't Chika say to Miyuki, look at all of these balloons or these hearts, and she was holding it? Didn't she say something we're gonna hand these out to people and give them away to people? We have so many.
Yeah, I think so.
And then she just said she was gonna blame the tabletop club.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It's Chika. Chika did it.
The latter half. Like a man. Do you hear the song too? I love how they intentionally make songs sound similar to famous ones.
She's turning into Miko Ino right now.
Oh no.
Already printed something.
Detective Chika. Interesting.
Ooh, a card.
I've come to claim your heart.
What's he after? Love?
Is it Miyuki? Look at how good he's gotten.
Every festival could do with a little commotion.
Another clown.
I know, like clowns are creepy, but like at least he's like good at making something.
He's gotten so good.
Depending if the balloons have helium, wouldn't it be a beautiful display if the Phantom Thief like released all of them into the air and there were just like hearts floating in the sky?
My leading theory is that it was Miyuki and that's what's inside the dragon's egg on top of the roof. My secondary theory is Miyuki knows nothing about it, but Miyuki's dad knows what Miyuki's gonna do and is plotting behind the scenes to help. Wants to make her confess. Right.
We're gonna try it out. She's doing a good job to herself by these daydreams she's having.
Look at the noise in the background.
Oh. Jealousy.
Oh no, you're waiting too long!
No! Oh, I got so scared someone was gonna be behind her. Oh, okay, thank God.
What do you think Maki's home life is like?
Interesting.
The eye. Some of those are really good. The bee?
He can handle anything. Make a heart. But he'd be the one handing it to you.
The popped balloon visual was funny. Is that Princess Peach?
Interesting.
So...
Yes! Real one!
She knows.
Oh, real one. Yes.
Oh, the wink! Oh! He wants to
Kashiwagi and her have had some really cute moments about it. On the house. Darn it. No!
What a play!
Go away, Maki.
It's here. Music's so good. It's equal!
We're actually getting this? I'm deflated.
No!
That build up and then they like crashed me down.
God.
And ugh.
Oh no. Ino definitely took something off her back.
But did someone put something on her back?
It looked like it, right?
I mean, why else would there be tape on her and she wouldn't let anyone get it off?
This is something I didn't even know I needed.
There's no way this is the first time.
How do you say no?
No.
Huh.
No!
No.
Kaguya, don't
No.
ruin this, please! Oh
You think
no!
you're helping.
Obliterate your rival! Oh, shoot. But she even said she'd fall for him
God,
if she dated him.
The audio and the editing. Oh, what a visual.
It's like the sound room.
Oh,
the ears from
God,
last episode.
Oh, he's crying
very-
too.
They're like rocking back and forth.
It's exactly what would happen.
I know.
And go to the aquarium. I knew it was Chica when I saw the boob shot. God damn it. Didn't want to be right.
Oh.
I don't think she understood.
Because she was never noticing him? Please.
No chills.
I know, please. Is to put it on hold for a little.
And Nishigami doesn't even know what he did, so it's the perfect conclusion for it.
Reminds me of My Love Mix-Up.
Okay, good start. Nah, it's gonna be work stuff.
Yes!
I don't know if I should trust this.
Oh, that was smooth! That was good!
I don't know. I don't.
Inside, I
I'm
don't
just
know
gonna shut
about
up.
that. Okay, let's see internally. Ooh.
You may.
Yes, you should.
What is happening?
He's really laying it on. It's nice. Oh, if this turns out that they're not compatible.
It's like a lot of details. We're seeing from inside of the skull on... That's so cool.
Mental strength. Your day of death.
Crucial decision regarding your future.
Holy.
Do you think Miyuki's planned this entire thing out?
I don't know. She's too busy trying to catch the Phantom Thief. Yes! Chika's busy. Chaos Theory isn't entering the chat.
This is what I'm taking next. Clocks like the intro.
Oh!
Cool shot.
Oh,
it's
this
like
is
a video game.
We're seeing all of these inspiration things from the intro.
Yeah.
To come watch her performance.
Another famous song sound alike. Oh! Dude, everything is like accounted for. I'm waiting for this to be some sick joke. Oh no, he's gonna tell her that he's moving.
She's gonna think it might be a confession.
If a confession happened and everything was good and then this came out, it wouldn't feel good, it wouldn't feel genuine, it wouldn't feel
He wouldn't feel good about it. He wouldn't feel good if she confessed to him and then he had to tell her that.
I mean, it wouldn't be right. And if there is any hope of Kaguya wanting to be in a relationship with Miyuki and them actually having something, then Kaguya needs to have all the information on the table before being able to make that option. Mm-hmm. Because now opens up a possibility of Miyuki saying, I know we only have 3 months or however long left before I leave, but I'd like to take advantage of that. Okay, that was Kaguya-sama Love is War, Season 3, Episode 11. That was one of my favorite episodes of the season, I think.
I will totally agree with you. It felt somewhat nostalgic to the first season.
I agree.
But in such a wholesome and sweet way that we were getting kind of that taste again of that super sly, I'm going to try to trick you energy. But then it was getting thwarted. And then that self-consciousness and then all the worries disappearing, but also all of the inspirations in this episode from things that you see in the opening, characters you see in the opening, the way that it's drawn, the video game that was happening with the zombies,
it's great.
It was so good.
Everything down to at the end of the opening, you see Kaguya looking at her hand, and I think that's telling us that she needs to stop, because there was a moment that she did it. And that was the moment that made me feel the most, not happy. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, that's not what it's time for, you know?
And do you remember what she said to herself? It was, believe right before Chika showed up. So right before she started thinking, oh, someone's going to ruin this. She started to feel like things, I think she even said something along the lines of things are going right when I stop trying, which is something that we've been saying that we've noticed and the viewer will notice since season 1 is that whenever neither of them were trying to be tricksters, things went so right and were so lovely. And right as she was feeling that is when Chika came up and then, she's like, what about Ishigami? And then it's almost like she was making she was being such a worrywart. There's going to be something that's going to get in the way. And unfortunately, at the end there, we see what the something is that she thought is probably going to happen.
Yeah. I agree. Do you think that there's any shot that Miyuki's done everything? That Miyuki has, like... Obviously, I got a different feeling once they left the psychic because you saw how bashful Miyuki was, but God, the timing for the Chika, Ishigami, and Miko Ino, like, and the, I guess, like, excuses, like, I think that Miyuki would know that those factors could also cause a problem for him. Not to confess his love, even, but to confess this. And part of me thinks that there might be a possibility that Miyuki thought about all of this. And I think the reason I felt not 100% convinced that could be a possibility was because I didn't know if he could put this plan together to make him confess in the way that this ended out, right?
Okay.
I think that the reason why I feel like it's a possibility was because he was motivated not by a confession of love and saying how he feels, but a confession of telling Kaguya his acceptance. And I think that was genuine, and that could be what motivated him to do this shit.
So
you know?
If he did anything here to kind of create the perfect time to tell Kaguya this. So if we go back to last episode, he was talking to Chika about feeling like he needed to somewhat intervene to make sure Ishigami was okay. And I started to think to myself as you were talking, the one character that is the chaos theory is Chika.
Mm-hmm.
So if Miyuki did any planning or anything, it was creating this phantom thief to keep Chika busy so Chika wasn't chaos. I mean, Ishigami, Miyuki decided to leave that up to, like, that he wasn't going to intervene.
Yeah.
By the end of last episode, we saw Miko, I'm sure, has so many people she wants to yell at right now and so many things that she wants to do, and she's hungry, obviously. Who knows? Maybe Miyuki showed those two boys a picture of her and was like, hey, you see this girl? She's over there. Like, but...
What do you think Tsubame is going to tell, Ishigami? Like, do you think it's her saying that I'm going to want to get to know you more, or do you think it was something else?
So, I think if she said to Kaguya, the line we have to go off of to theorize what she has to say is that you won't have to take care of him or worry about him.
Yeah.
And that means that she's not going to break his heart right this second.
Correct.
He's not going to be hearing anything where he's going to be running off to cry or complain to his friends. So and I think she's just going to tell him that she wants to spend some time getting to know him.
Yeah.
And when she said in front of Kaguya that she feels like if she did date him, she'd fall for him, and she's scared of that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
You know what the best part about that was? It wasn't that, like, yeah, I date him and fall for him, but it was like her, like, awareness of who she is as a person, and her being like, when I date somebody, I completely like do everything. Like
when
this
you
is how
fall
I
in
am.
love with somebody, I mean, I would say it's very realistic that it's a worry on a lot of people's parts, and maybe it is something they end up falling into, that when you fall in love with someone and you're dating your best friend, they really are kind of a sole occupant of your time for a lot of your time. And she was like, I care about my like gymnastics, and I'm going away to college far away, and all of those things are reasons why she wouldn't want to fall for someone, because she has her own... Tsubame is kind of like this perfect character of someone who like really enjoys her life and is having a lot of fun in her life, how it is. And if you love yourself and you're enjoying your life, then anything that could possibly change how things are would be scary.
I can tell you from negative experiences I've had, I wish in the past I had a potential, like, realization of the kind of person that Tsubame is claiming she is. Because if we, like, read the words on the screen, the captions, the subtitles, if I do go out with him, then I'll probably fall for him, right? And sure, that's like, yeah, okay, then I'll fall for him, love. But when I fall for someone, it's like nothing else exists except for that person. And then it seems like she's, like, is starting to allude to, in the past, if she's been in relationships, every other part of, like, she's not able to balance it. And the parts of her life that she does care about suffers from it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, it didn't need to be this deep, and I'm so happy it is. Like, I'm sure I'd start phoning it in during rhythmic gymnastics practice. Like, it's affecting And my college is somewhat far away. It's affecting all aspects of her life, and she's putting real thought into this decision.
And the only reason that she's putting so much thought into it is because she thinks he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, I never thought about him that way, but he's not just some playboy that's coming up to me, like, wanting to date me that I know is a bad idea. Like, it's someone who I could actually have, like, a relationship with because they're nice and they wouldn't intentionally try to hurt me. And, like, she wants to give it respect. And I want to talk about her reaction to him.
Yes.
That
wasn't the end of it.
That was my favorite moment.
It was great. Because, you know what? If they went this route and it was a yes or a no or whatever, like, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen them know the Ishigami we know. We know what he's been through, you know, and he's a hell of a lot more complex than just a nice guy too, you know?
To Tsubame, he probably is just a shy guy that she helped break out of his shell a little bit, you know? And that's probably all she thinks, is a shy, nice, quiet guy that broke out of his shell and she cheered on, and that's all she really knows is nothing else than that.
They chose to make her intelligent enough to not need Kaguya's excuses for Ishigami. And when I say excuse, I don't mean anything but the truth.
Kaguya was trying to be like, oh, he's not violent. Oh, you know, that sort of thing.
She knew it. Like, right away, that she was like, you know what? I don't know everything about. I love that for that character. I was really glad to see that.
How can you say, unless someone comes on to you in, like, the most gross, horrible way, how can you, like, flat out say no, especially if you kind of know the person, if you don't truly know the person? Like, how, especially if you find them somewhat attractive.
Yeah.
And could see that maybe you would like them, you can't just flat out say no. You'd have to know them first to make an informed decision.
I mentioned this while we were watching. I thought it was so interesting. Not that we would have answers, but I wonder if Maki's home life is better than Kaguya's. I
could see it. I could see it.
Couldn't you see them, like, going down a route if the story continued for another season or two of them, of, like, Maki realizing that Kaguya, like, doesn't have it as easy as people think that she does, you know, and like that.
Like, all Maki wants is for Kaguya to love her. Like, Maki is so sad almost as a character because all of the people that she wants to love her can't and aren't right now, and I feel really bad for her in that regard.
There was a time in the episode, right when they were sitting down, Kaguya and Tsubame, it was about halfway through the episode, that the editing and storyboarding and creativity of everything just shot up to, like, 11. Like, everything. There was so many cool like, little quick cuts to emphasize certain words that Kaguya was using, or there was, like, one scene that they inverted the colors on Kaguya to show, like, what she was saying, and her realization was the opposite of what she was intending to do by accidentally fucking over Ishigami.
Yeah.
Which you know,
showing an emotion and really taking home that emotion of, like, what the person's saying and how they might be feeling just by how you edit the image.
And then you pointed it out after. I was like, oh, cool visual of the well with the scissors, and I said this last discussion, and I still don't know if it was the case or me, but I was like, oh, I wish this was left or right. There were channels. Like, the atmosphere of the audio was so good. The editing in this episode is just top tier, and it's one of my favorite things about this entire series.
Even when she imagines herself being ruthless and cutting off you there with the rope, she can't look.
Yeah.
It could be seen as, like, I'm gonna do this, but it could also be seen as, like, she's gonna be ruthless, but she doesn't even want to look at what she's gonna do.
Yeah. God, I hated
when you said as soon as you see the chest shot, you were like, that's Chika. And I'm like,
I wanted to be
wrong. They
wouldn't
do it with any other character. They would have introduced this in a whole other way if it was someone else.
Yeah. I don't know.
Chika's rejection was just so her, and that he felt so at peace after it. She's obviously mastered this.
Yeah. Definitely.
Flawless. Like, he was at peace.
This is happy. Routine. This is just another day, you know, for Chika. I don't know, man. I really just love how they handled that. I love how pure Miko Ino is too, because I believe that she wouldn't think anything of it, and that Ishigami like is willing to break. Oh, how can we not talk about the piece of tape on the back of Tsubame?
Yeah, what was that?
It had to have been a note, right? It had to have been, like, because we've seen so many connections with pieces of paper stuck to backs in between Miko Ino and Ishigami, and both of them were there.
Who would bully her?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe when she arrived before Ishigami got there and everyone was kind of hanging out in the club room, like hanging out, and maybe someone jokingly like was like, ooh, like put like lover or like something that wasn't actually like mean, but was about what happened on her back, and maybe she was more hiding it because she didn't want him to know that people were making fun of him about it.
Yeah.
And she was nervous to be around him. But I don't know. The tape on her hood is still really suspicious question mark to me.
Yeah, same here. Bar none, the most like impressive, cool moment of this episode for me had nothing to do with the story and was just the creative choice they did from the like shots from within the skull in the fortune telling room. I just want to watch it again because it's not even simple. It's not like they just did it. They panned in it, and it took me a second too. Like they show it, they pan up to it. They are like doing shaky cam through the eyes, which almost makes me feel like Miyuki's dad has cameras in here and he's the one who planned everything. I mean,
it definitely fits with the fact that they're trying to say that this room and this person in front of them has a creepy feel, and how do they know these things?
It's just so brilliant because, like, of course, like the bone structure would act as the table, right? So it would make it the perfect device to switch point of view from one side of the table to the other, to pan over and not just cut. And they did it. Like, look. Shaky cam, they're doing it. Pan over for half of like, a couple frames. We don't see anything.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. And then they have the gradient of the black to white to show. Oh my God, I love this show.
I think one of my other favorite kind of creative shots and like beautiful imagery was when the fortune teller was saying that Kaguya was like the water, like clear water. And I think her foot steps out and you hear that like some like beautiful like bloop sound or something like that. And it was so nice. And then I thought it was really interesting, not only her descriptions of them as people, like, wow, okay, where did you do your research and how do you know what you know? But when she brought up that if Kaguya was with an evil person, she would like that she could be on either side depending on who she was around, like the person that she devoted herself to. That's like, in a way, it's super powerful. Like, you could be an amazingly positive person, but I'm also like, do I like that? Am I okay with the idea that a person could have that much influence on?
I mean, we saw what she was like before Miyuki, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that she was like that because of how she was raised in the environment of cold.
Okay, so I shouldn't take it as anything bad, like that she would change based on the person she's with, and it's more that she has been warmed by meeting him and falling in love with him, and he's such a good guy, and so she's become a better person for it.
I would say so.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're writing like times down? The clock
7:50, 9:10, 10:05, 1:50, 12:10. I cannot see anything that makes too much sense to me at first glance, other than a bunch of these numbers, including 1s, 0s, and 5s.
Possibly each clock represents a time that the Phantom Thief left a note or a clue or did something.
That's a good one.
Like took the balloons or planted them somewhere else, or a time where the whatever happened will unleash.
There are also different fonts and different, like, you know?
But when we were watching the episode, you go, that's like in the intro, I was like, oh my God.
This is what I'm taking next. So he's taking clocks away?
Or he's taking time.
Yeah. He's taking time. God, I want to like. I know,
like if it's not Miyuki, which part of me is like, why would he do this? And the other part could come up with reasons why he might. who else would it be, you know? It couldn't be someone we didn't know. Like, that would be crazy. And it's obviously not Chika, who I thought it was at the beginning.
What is the bottom left when he's covering the little bit with his hand? Like,
A, circle, circle.
it looks like an
something.
A, comma, and then there's like 3 circles. He's covering something, a line under. What would fill that space? Because obviously it's not a signature, because that's next to it.
Maybe they're the clocks that haven't happened yet.
Maybe? God, I love things like this. I love mysteries.
You're trying to, like, decode it. You need, like, Chika's hat, and
Yeah.
you're ready to investigate. The Phantom Thief.
Could be, like, taking time, distracting these other people, like the whole Miyuki plan this kind of idea. But, Arsene, and it doesn't say anything backwards. Is it an anagram? Doesn't look like it, right? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for being quiet. I just am so in my head about, like,
I don't know.
what's gonna be the response to this news and what happens next. Like, how do we actually get a confession from now, and what's Tsubame gonna say to you exactly? I want to know the exact words.
Last thing I want to, like, talk about is, what do you think Kaguya's response is going to be? I think that initially I'm thinking about how Kaguya would feel. And I think Kaguya would be self-deprecating. And she would feel foolish that all this time she has mistaken love for Miyuki as something else. And this would tell her not to trust her gut. And that makes me... I'm not saying that's the truth, because I hope that something would reaffirm her afterwards. But, like, I don't see her getting cynical in response. I think her, like, I see her breaking even and just being like, oh, okay, I see how it, like, I see, you know? I'm trying to imagine how it's gonna go down.
I see her being sad, but also both happy that he's telling her.
Yeah, that's great that you're, like, that's amazing for you.
And proud of him.
I couldn't expect anything less.
I was shocked by it because I stupidly thought that they were, like, probably in their last year, and which I knew they weren't, but it didn't occur to me that he'd be leaving school early. You know, I thought he was just college, study abroad. I didn't realize he was skipping a year and leaving early. Like, for some reason, like, my brain did not compute that, like, the intricacy of it and the actual details and facts, and the fact that I didn't realize in my head that Kaguya will be here without him. Kaguya's not also going away to college. Like, that is such a different dynamic. 2 people going away to college, you know, at the same time, or going away to a different school at the same time, that one person still being there and the other person going on.
Yeah.
Totally different dynamic.
A very
Not an easy one at all. Like, not good.
I'm looking at it. I knew I had to tell you right away. Okay, that's my acceptance letter. I just wanted to confirm that was what was in the envelope, and not like a resignation or like an I'm recommending you to be the president instead of me, or
Question. So Kaguya said, and we had this from her, that she was trying to be very present in this day that they were spending together, and these things they were doing. And she was like, why is he not, like, you know, struggling and blushing? And it seemed like he was kind of cool, calm, and collected, obviously, until after the psychic reading. And I started thinking that maybe it's because he was really in his head about knowing that he had to tell her this. It's not the same giddiness and excitement of knowing you have to confess to someone, or you're going to confess to someone. He was about to tell the person he loves that he's going away. And I feel like that probably was really distracting him until... And he said it was hard to keep his composure during that reading that they had. And it
makes it harder for him.
I hope that he was able to enjoy and be present to somewhat of those moments that Kaguya was really enjoying. And it makes me feel like he wasn't, because of the fact that we were only following her perspective. We didn't get any internal for Miyuki during that whole thing.
It was great.
It was great because it leaves us with that question mark of what's he thinking, how's he feeling right now. But it's also worrisome because it's like, we know how Kaguya was feeling, but we don't know what was going on in his head. Was he enjoying it? Did anything she do? Was anything she did super cute?
You want to know what it does? It helps the unpredictability of next episode so much.
It does.
We could start out next episode and be living through it in Miyuki's head and retelling us what happened, but what he was thinking the entire time. We what's an ending here? Like what's an ending to next episode? Because I keep thinking about Zoe 101 and Chase and Zoe, and I'm like, what? They're just long distance?
I think by the time it happened, I didn't want it to happen anymore.
I'm like, what? Are they gonna date for a while and then they're just gonna long distance date? Are they going to be on hold until he gets back? Are they gonna, like, I genuinely don't know what's gonna happen and don't know how they're gonna handle next episode, because if I'm honest, I don't know where this series ends. It kind of feels like it would be soon because of how much they're pushing Miyuki leaving, but because of me not knowing when it ends, I don't know what to expect. I don't, right.
And there's also the addition, we do have another character in the show who is also leaving and has been confessed to and is willing to not just reject and shut out the person and be like, hey, I'm leaving, we can't date. So there's room in here for these two characters to realize that going away next year isn't like the end all be all, we can't even try thing. You gotta try. You gotta try.
I will say that they're handling this from a pacing and storytelling perspective perfectly. Like I'm really I'm surprised. I didn't think they'd be able to handle this many things at once and tell like a cohesive story, because the format for Kaguya-sama Love is War. We have like A, B, C, D, and E stories sometimes. And
we do.
The fact that in this episode they managed to put in so much emotion strictly from Tsubame and still handle the like actual core story. It
was so
I'm
perfect
astonished.
Timing too, because we get Tsubame going through some similar thoughts to what Kaguya is about to go through, which is the idea of you not being able to have the next year dating this person and really be together, and that there is a wall in front of you, an obstacle to your love or to a possibility of love.
Yeah. I love watching good shows.
This is a really great ramp up to an ending.
It is. If for the season, forever, honestly, it would be why I think that it's coming to an end or a time skip or something is mainly because a satisfying ending wouldn't be Miyuki turning down the acceptance and staying there.
No.
That being said, like it's an option on the table, but I don't think it's going to go that way.
It's an option on the table, but I feel like it's been discussed enough. Like, we've seen Miyuki thinking about it by himself. We've seen him discussing it with the principal of the school. If I feel like he already thought about retracting it from the table, he already thought about not going, and he has decided, and he has been told as well, that for himself this is like a golden opportunity that I think he feels that there's a good chance that Kaguya would maybe even in some regards she'd be sad that he goes or upset at him for going, but there would also be a bigger part of her, if she loves him, that would be feeling bad or guilty of robbing him of such a great opportunity. Like, can't you just both be strong and try to love each other long distance?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to handle because I just said that, and now I'm thinking about when Kaguya went up to Miyuki and asked him to be president again. And I'm like, God, what if Miyuki's like, Kaguya, I want to be president again. And I'm like, what do I want to happen? I don't know.
It's so upsetting because, like, I feel like when you think about realistic life, like, I do know some people who went to separate colleges and were dating from high school who are still together. I do know people that has happened to. I also know people that tried the long distance and it didn't work out. So I'm like, I want these characters to be together, so I want them to have the best chance to be together.
Yeah.
But I also don't want either of them to, like, make giant major life choices when they're, like, this young.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a little young to be, like, throwing away giant opportunities over someone who you're not even dating yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, the love part of me is like, I want it. And then the realistic part of me is like,
I know, I'm the same, but love the episode, love the show, excited for next episode.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.